Well now, let me tell you about a little place called Meadowbrook. It was a cozy little hollow, nestled right between two gently rolling hills that looked like two big green sleeping cats. The sun always seemed to shine a little brighter there, warming the fuzzy moss on the old stone walls and making the buttercups glow like tiny golden lanterns. In this peaceful place lived a small bear named Barnaby. He had soft brown fur the color of warm cinnamon toast and a heart full of curiosity. Barnaby lived in a round little cottage with a bright blue door, and every morning he would start his day by watering the cheerful daisies that grew in his window box, humming a happy little tune as he did. Barnaby loved his home. He loved the way the creek giggled as it tumbled over smooth, gray stones. He loved the way the tall grass swished and swayed, telling secrets to the wind. Today was a particularly lovely day. Friday, August 8th, 2025. A perfect day for an adventure, though Barnaby did not know it yet. He finished his breakfast of honey and berries, feeling the warm sunshine pour through his kitchen window. Barnaby was just about to head into the attic to look for his fishing pole when he spotted it. Tucked away in a dusty corner, behind a stack of old quilts, was a kite. But this was no ordinary kite. It was shaped like a friendly dragon, with a long, flowing tail made of colorful silk ribbons. Its paper skin was the color of a sunset, a beautiful mix of orange, pink, and purple. Big, gentle eyes were painted on its face, and they seemed to look right at Barnaby with a knowing, happy sparkle. He had never seen this kite before. He wondered where it could have possibly come from. He reached out a paw and gently touched the kite's smooth paper surface. As his paw made contact, he heard a soft, rustling sound, like leaves whispering a secret. The whisper came again, seeming to come from the kite itself. "Let's fly," it seemed to sigh. "Let's go see the sky." Barnaby's eyes grew wide. A talking kite? Well, that was certainly not something a bear saw every day. He carefully lifted the kite and carried it downstairs and out into the bright sunshine of his garden. The ribbons on its tail fluttered and danced in the gentle breeze, catching the light like tiny, colorful waterfalls. Barnaby held the string, which was wound neatly around a smooth wooden handle. He felt a gentle tug, a little pull, as if the kite was saying, "Come on, what are we waiting for? The sky is waiting for us." Barnaby took the Whispering Kite to the top of the tallest hill in Meadowbrook, a place called Daisy Top Hill, because in the summer it was covered in a thick blanket of cheerful white and yellow daisies. The wind was a little stronger up here, just perfect for flying a kite. He stood for a moment, feeling the wind comb through his fur and watching the clouds drift slowly by. The kite rustled in his paws, eager and ready. "Now," it seemed to whisper, "let's go now." Barnaby smiled. He held the kite up high, letting the wind catch its sunset-colored wings. He let out a little bit of string and then a little more. The kite leaped from his grasp and soared into the air with a happy whoosh. It climbed higher and higher, its long, ribboned tail dancing and swirling against the bright blue canvas of the sky. But then, something strange began to happen. The kite did not just fly, it pulled. It pulled with a surprising strength, not like a normal kite tugging in the wind, but like a friend trying to lead him somewhere. Barnaby's feet, which had been planted firmly on the grassy hilltop, suddenly lifted from the ground, first just an inch, then a foot. He gasped in surprise, his paws clutching the handle tightly. He was floating. The kite was lifting him, a small round bear in red overalls, right up into the air. He was flying. He was actually flying. Barnaby looked down and saw his little blue-doored cottage, the giggling creek, and the entire valley of Meadowbrook spread out below him like a patchwork quilt. It was the most amazing, most wonderful, most unbelievable thing that had ever happened to him. As Barnaby and his kite floated higher, the world became a soft and quiet place. He drifted past fluffy white clouds that looked like giant scoops of vanilla ice cream. But not all the clouds were so friendly. Directly in their path was a very large, very dark gray cloud.
It looked lumpy and cross, with a downturned mouth and two furrowed brows that rumbled with a low, grumbling sound. As they drew closer, the grumpy cloud spoke, its voice a low, rumbling murmur like distant thunder. "Halt!" it grumbled. "No one passes through my bit of sky without my permission, and I'm not in a permission-giving mood today."
Excuse me, Mr. Cloud. We were just passing through. We don't mean any trouble at all.
Trouble is what you'll get if you can't answer my riddle. If you answer correctly, you may pass. If you are wrong, I will rain on you until your fur is soggy and you float right back down to the ground. I have no voice, but I can tell you stories. I have no legs, but I travel all over the world. I am light as a feather, but no one can hold me for long. What am I?
Is the answer the wind?
The grumpy cloud stopped rumbling. Its furrowed brow seemed to soften just a little. For a long moment, there was only silence. Then a slow, deep chuckle started, a sound like stones rolling around deep inside the cloud. "Well, I'll be," the cloud boomed, its voice much friendlier now. "A little bear flying on a kite, and a clever one at that. You are correct. The answer is the wind." The dark gray color of the cloud began to lighten, turning into a soft, silvery gray. The cross expression on its face melted away, replaced by a wide, gentle smile. "My name is Nimbus," the cloud said cheerfully. "I get a bit lonely up here sometimes, and a good riddle is the best way I know to make a new friend." Barnaby smiled back, feeling very relieved. "It's very nice to meet you, Nimbus. I'm Barnaby, and this is my kite." The kite gave a happy little dip in the air as if to say hello. Nimbus chuckled again. "A pleasure to meet you both. As a reward for your cleverness, I have something for you. A little gift to help you on your way." Nimbus seemed to shimmer and glow from within. With a soft, pleasant rumbling sound, Nimbus opened up its cloudy center, revealing a path right through the middle. The path was not dark and rainy, but filled with a soft, shimmering light, like the inside of a seashell. "Please," Nimbus said kindly, "travel through. It is the quickest way to the very top of the sky, where the stars are just waking up from their daytime naps." Barnaby thanked his new friend, and holding on tight, let the kite pull him into the beautiful, shimmering tunnel. The journey through Nimbus the cloud was magical. It was like floating through a gentle, foggy dream, filled with soft light and a quiet, humming sound. The air was cool and clean and smelled like fresh rain. Tiny droplets of light, like little fireflies, danced all around Barnaby and his kite. When they emerged from the other side, Barnaby gasped. The sky was different here. It was a deep, velvety blue, the color of twilight just before the night arrives. And scattered all around them, sleeping gently in the air, were tiny, sparkling lights. They looked like little seeds made of pure, shining crystal. These were the star seeds. They were the baby stars, waiting for nighttime to come so they could take their places in the sky. They drifted slowly, each one pulsing with a soft, gentle glow. Barnaby had never imagined anything so beautiful. He and his kite floated among them, careful not to bump into any of them. He reached out a paw, very, very gently, and touched one of the drifting seeds. It was warm, and it made a tiny, tinkling sound like a very small bell. The kite seemed to love it here, its ribbon tail swishing softly through the fields of sleeping stars. Barnaby realized this was where the kite had wanted to go all along. It had not just wanted to fly, it had wanted to come home, to visit the place where the stars were born. He felt very lucky to be here, to see such a secret and wonderful sight. He watched as some of the star seeds began to wake up. They blinked their light slowly, then began to glow brighter and brighter, getting ready for their long night's work of shining down on the world. As they floated among the star seeds, Barnaby's kite did something new. It dipped its long, flowing tail into a cluster of the brightest, most awake star seeds. When it lifted its tail again, the tips of the silk ribbons were glowing. They were covered in sparkling stardust that twinkled and shone with a brilliant silvery light. The kite then began to dance through the twilight sky, swooping and twirling in big, graceful loops. And everywhere it went, it left a trail of glittering light behind it. It was painting the sky with stars, helping the coming night get ready. Barnaby watched in awe. The kite was not just a kite. It was a helper, a sky painter. It drew beautiful, swirling patterns of starlight across the deep blue canvas. It connected the dots between the bigger stars, creating new constellations that looked like sparkling bears and smiling rabbits and friendly dragons. Barnaby laughed, holding on tight as the kite did a particularly joyful loop-the-loop, leaving a perfect, shimmering circle of light behind them. He felt like he was part of the magic, a little bear helping to decorate the night. It was the best job he could ever imagine having. He realized that this was the lesson the kite wanted to share with him. It was a lesson about helping and creating beauty. The kite did not just fly for fun, it flew with a purpose. Its purpose was to spread light and wonder, to make the night sky a little more beautiful for everyone down on the ground who might be looking up. They danced and painted for a long time, until the sky was filled with shimmering trails and the first stars of the evening were shining brightly. The kite's ribbons slowly lost their glow as the stardust was used up, and it began to fly more gently, its work now done. Barnaby felt a happy kind of tiredness settle over him. It had been a very big day, full of new friends and amazing sights. He knew it was time to go home. The kite seemed to know it too, as it turned its sunset-colored face back in the direction of the soft green hills of Meadowbrook, far, far below. The journey down was much slower and calmer than the journey up. The kite no longer pulled with excited urgency, but floated gently, guiding Barnaby on a soft, quiet descent. Barnaby looked down and saw the grumpy, turned-friendly face of Nimbus the Cloud, who gave him a big, puffy wave as he floated past. He floated down past the birds, who were now settling into their nests for the night. He saw the world grow bigger and bigger below him. He could make out the shape of Daisy Top Hill, and then the winding path of Willow Creek, which shimmered like a silver ribbon in the fading light. He could even see a tiny pinprick of light that he knew was the lamp he had left on in the window of his own cozy cottage. The sight of his home made him feel warm and safe. Adventures were wonderful, but coming home was a special kind of wonderful all its own. The kite guided him perfectly, setting him down on the top of Daisy Top Hill as gently as a falling leaf. His paws touched the soft grass, and he was standing on solid ground once more. The kite floated down beside him, its magical energy now calm and quiet. It rested on the daisies, its painted eyes seeming to smile at him. Barnaby carefully wound the string back onto its wooden handle, his heart full of gratitude for the amazing day they had shared. He had flown, talked to a cloud, and painted the sky with stars. It was a lot for one small bear. He picked up the kite and began the walk home. The first real stars of the night were beginning to pop out in the sky, and Barnaby thought he could see the faint, shimmering trails they had made together. He smiled. He knew he had a new friend in his magical kite, and another new friend, Nimbus, waiting for him up in the sky. The world felt bigger now, but also friendlier. He walked down the hill, tired but very, very happy, eager to get back to his round little cottage with the bright blue door and dream of his incredible adventure. When Barnaby got back to his cottage, the moon was just beginning to rise over the sleeping hills. The whole world of Meadowbrook was quiet and peaceful. He opened his little blue door and stepped inside, the familiar comfort of his home wrapping around him like a warm blanket. He was very tired. He leaned the kite carefully in the corner of his living room, where the moonlight coming through the window made its sunset colors glow softly. "Thank you," he whispered to the kite. "That was the best adventure ever." He made himself a small supper of warm milk and a honey cookie, which he ate while sitting in his favorite armchair. Through the window, he could see the sky, now dark and filled with a brilliant spray of stars. He looked for the swirling patterns they had painted, and he was sure he could see them, faint and beautiful. After his snack, Barnaby yawned a big bear yawn. It was time for bed. He changed into his pajamas, brushed his teeth, and climbed into his snug little bed. He pulled the quilt up to his chin and closed his eyes. He felt safe and sound and happy. The adventure had been exciting, but being tucked into his own bed was a wonderful feeling too. He thought about Nimbus the Cloud and the twinkling star seeds, and he smiled in the darkness. He knew he would never forget this day, the day he flew up to the top of the sky. And as Barnaby the bear drifted off to sleep in his cozy cottage in the peaceful valley of Meadowbrook, he dreamed. He dreamed of floating through soft clouds and dancing with his friendly kite. He dreamed of painting the night with brilliant shining stars, and all through the night as he slept soundly, the magical kite stood silently in the corner of the room, its long ribboned tail resting on the floor, dreaming its own happy, quiet dreams of the wind and the sky. The end.